Okay, so we're gonna get going here. We have Dave Schudson. We have a topic that I'm excited about. I've had some inquiries over the years, and Dave, I don't know if you want to set it up because I'm not exactly sure how to set up. So I'm gonna give it to you. So go ahead.
Thank you. Uh, Hello, Margaret and Janice.
Well, there's quite a few more on, Dave. They just haven't talked to you. That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear that. Uh, Mark asked me to talk about Swiss team games because they're scored differently than the pair games that you're used to. Uh, in your pair games, you get a point for every pair that you beat and half a point for every pair that you tie. And it doesn't matter how much you beat them by, whether it's just one over trick or it could be a game or slam bonus and you beat them by a lot. It all counts the same. So what happens in these pair games is you just start fighting to get every trick you can get. And you might even stress major suits and no trump to get slightly higher scores than the people in the minor suits. But team games aren't like that. How much you beat the opponents by counts. If you beat them by a lot, then you're ahead by a lot. Uh, Much like in rubber bridge scoring, I asked Mark if many of the students had rubber bridge experience, and he suggested that you haven't. Um, so I'm going to address something today called safety plays, where you don't really try for over tricks so much because they don't improve your score compared to making your contract. You would hate to go down in a contract trying for over tricks in a team game because of the scoring. It's much more important to make your contract. Uh, in fact, even if you don't try team games, there are two times in pair games where you might play safely to make your contract and not risk it for over tricks. One is if you're doubled. Uh, if you're doubled, you're going to get a very good score for making your doubled contract. Admittedly, the over trick is worth a lot too, but you'll probably beat everybody else just by making your
Do
contract.
you mind cutting up those veggies and putting them in the pan
Whoever's
and
talking.
then
Yes, I'll do it.
throwing it in the
Whoa,
soup
you're.
pot?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay to continue?
Yeah.
There are two times when you would play safely for your contract, which is what I'll be showing you today, even in a pair game. So for those of you that still aren't ready or aren't comfortable trying these team games, in your pair games, the two times you should play safely for your contract, one is when you're doubled, because you'll certainly get a top or a near top for making a doubled contract. And the other time is if you've had a really good auction and you've bid a game or slam that makes because of distribution, and you're there with fewer high card points than are normally needed to make such a contract. You're feeling really good about where you are, and you know you'll get a good score if you make it. So you might give up on over tricks a little bit to play safely. So even if you don't play in team games, what I'm going to show you now will work in pair games in those two cases, when you're doubled or when you're in a really good spot. Well, so today's lesson is on safety plays. And in both examples that I'm going to show you today, I've simplified the problem by making only one suit relevant. If you look at the screen or the hand on the screen, the clubs, diamonds, and hearts are not very interesting. You have three high tricks in all three suits, and no matter what you do, you'll be taking three tricks in each of those suits. The only suit that is important, at least in strategy, is spades. The contract is 6 spades, and they've led something sadly that isn't a spade, which would have helped you a great deal. And you have to make 6 spades. When you look at the hand, you might be worried that you've missed 7. In fact, if you have 9 spades, and if you play the ace and king and the queen falls, you will make 7. But that's not your job. Your job in a team game, just as in rubber bridge, is to make your contract. So instead of trying to make 7, you have to avoid losing 2 spade tricks. And the opponents have both the queen and the 10 of spades. And your job is not to lose to both of them. You might lose to the queen. In fact, as soon as you choose whether to play the ace first or the king first, if you're wrong and you play the wrong honor and the queen is protected behind the other honor, there's nothing you can do to prevent yourself from losing to the queen of spades. Your job is not to lose to the 10 of spades, because if you lose to the queen and 10 of spades, you're going down in 6 spades. If this was a pair game scored by match points, I would probably lead the king of spades first. And if both opponents follow, I would probably lead to the ace next, because this 8 ever, 9 never stuff about dropping the queen is made for you to remember this situation. It's slightly better to play the ace and king than to finesse. But it's only slightly better. If the opponents have bid, you might decide to finesse. Or back in the days when we played face to face, you might lead the king and then lead toward the ace and jack and look at your opponents and see who looks more nervous. And you might decide to finesse then. But that's all for pair games. As soon as you've led the king of spades in a team game, you've messed up. As normal as that sounds, if your only job is to prevent the 10 of spades from scoring against you, you need to lead the ace first, because after you play the ace, you have a card higher than that 10 still left in both hands. Mark tells me you can see the board behind me. If I play the ace first and follow with the 3, I have the jack and the king remaining. And that way, no matter who has the 10, I can trap it because I have a higher honor than the 10 left in both hands. This may look completely unnatural to you, giving up on any kind of finesse for the queen, but remember that your job is not to lose to the 10. If the remaining 4 spades are distributed 2-2, you could make 7. If they're distributed 3-1 and you play the ace and king, you'd only lose 1 trick to the queen. But if they're breaking 4-0, that's when you're in danger of losing the queen and 10. And I'm going to put the queen 10, 7-6 on your left and on your right and show how you can survive either way. Let's say the queen, get another marker here. Let's say that the queen, 10, 7-6 are all on your right. If you had led the king first, the queen and 10 would be behind the ace jack 9, and you would lose to the queen and 10, and you'd go down in the contract where you can always make it. But if you play the ace first, they'll play the 6, and you play the 2 next, and they're stuck. If they play this, since all 4 spades are over here, this hand is going to show out when the ace is played, and I'm going to know exactly what's over here. So I play the ace, They show out on my left, and I now lead the 2. If the next hand plays the 7, I win the 8. If they play the 10, I win the king, but I've now stopped the 10 from scoring, and the ace jack 9 will take care of the rest, and I'll only lose to the queen. And if they play the queen, I'll win the king, and again, I'll only lose to the remaining honor, the 10. So I can handle all 4 trump on my right. I'm going to erase that and put all 4 trump on my left. Need to get a new marker. Mark, is that dark enough to see?
Yeah, that's all right. Yep. For me anyway.
Okay. I play the 8. Now here's the one most students might worry about. I played the ace first, and they're going to say, wait a minute, you can't ask for the queen anymore. That's true, but I'm not worried about the queen. I'm worried about the 10. So I play the ace and they play the 6. And yes, that queen is always going to score. But as soon as I play the ace, they show out on my right. And now I can, now I know that all the remaining honors are to my left. So I can play low to my king. And they play low. And then when I lead a 3rd round toward the jack and 9, my left-hand opponent can win the queen, but not the 10. So this is a 100% play. I can make 6 spades, even on a 4-0 break, no matter who has the queen. But as soon as I play that king of spades, I'm going down in 6 if all the trump were to the right. So I'm playing safely to lose only 1 trick, even though I might have taken all the tricks. So the contract I'm in helps me to set my target, how many tricks I should take. I should stop here because it's a very unnatural play to play the ace first. All you finessers are giving up on your favorite toy.
I'm addicted to finessing, Dave. This is tough.
Are there any questions or some part of this you'd like me to clarify?
I thought this was clear and helpful. Thank you.
So you're giving up on making 7 on some layouts, but you will be making your contract 100% of the time.
And we're not going to be able to go through another one, Dave, but I do, this is something that he talked about that I've had to kind of point out. Sometimes we get robotic in how we're going to play something. Okay. But when we see one of the opponents show out in a suit, I want you to just get in the habit of all I have to do is beat them by 1 when I see the other one. It seems so logical for me even to say it, but did you see how he recognized he only had to put in the 8? He didn't have to go up with the king on the 1. I see a lot of people do that. Even though the West hand showed out, all you have to do is beat the 1 hand by 1 little number, whatever they play. If they play the lowest they have, all you have to do is beat it by 1, and then you're good to go. Make that a habit, okay?
I'm sorry, everyone. I was a little long-winded. I had a second one to show you. Mark has it if you're interested in it.
Yeah, we have some further examples too. So we'll see what the feedback is on the imp scoring, Dave, and the safety plays.
Okay.
So, alrighty, everybody. If you need a partner, we have people at the partnership desk. I've had a few people reaching out, so hopefully we can pair everybody up, and we'll end it from there. Thanks again, Dave, and I guess that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good luck on your hunt for gold today. Prospectors.